to the third class of calligraphy. And I want to clarify myself a little bit. If I talk about calligraphy, I talk about two different ways to construct a letter and a word and a sentence. One is with transition, flat pen. One is with expansion, pointed nib. Those two, yeah, I say pen a lot because that's what it is in Dutch, and I understand you call it a nib. The expansion with the pointed nib has a Roman alphabet and a cursive. And the cursive of the pointed nib comes the closest to the way we want to write. We learned to write when we were young. So if this all confuses you too much, stay with that. Do not think about anything else from now on. If you want to understand both, then it's fine to also write with the flat pen. But the flat pen, which is a transition, flat nib, which is a translation, also has a Roman and a cursive. Those two alphabets are constructed differently. Look at the examples that I gave and let's talk about both their capitals. Because now I'm adding another jargon to the mix, and that is lowercase and uppercase, or the capital. The capital is very important, but this might also be the reason for you to choose the cursive, because the cursive has beautiful swirls around the capitals. And when you practice this, then you can really show off with your family. So let's look at the capital letters, or the uppercase. The lowercase we have been practicing till so far. Now the flat nib has also beautiful capitals, but not as much in their writing scheme. They're not as flamboyant, let's say. But in the earlier days, what they did was they made a whole illustration around it. So they made it into something very special. The writers who did the lowercase, or the rest of the page, were mostly different people than the ones who made the capital, or the very first letter. And the very first letter was made into a small illustration, and they are so beautiful and nice to look at. I want you to look at the examples that I have for the illustrations. So that might be a reason why you're going to choose that one alphabet. Anyway, so the capitals, the first letter is bigger than the rest, but it has a completely different way of constructing it. Let's look at the examples and then we go from there. And I still leave room for you to choose, but maybe I should not have done that. Too many choices sometimes cause stagnation and cause people to give it up altogether because it's too confusing. So I hope I unraveled everything a little bit. On the other hand, it's good to know it all. Now you are an expert as well, and it's time to choose. These are the letters I'm talking about. This is a historiated P, and this is an H. So these they used as the capitals or the starting letters for the translation. This, all the swirls, are with the expansion, with the pointed nib. So if you want to practice this, I would suggest that we're going to practice first the right direction and the right pressure. Pressure down, no pressure up, and learn also how to make these swirls. Then we can start making swirls everywhere where you think it's going to be fun for you to do it. So to make the swirls really takes practice too, because you cannot put any pressure on it. But the nib needs to have enough ink for you to make it work. So making it work is the most important thing. You can do this though. This is not rocket science. It takes practice, and we're going to practice with these up and down movements. Make them as regular as possible, because that means you are in control. I'm going to write all your names down for right now, and you have an example of the capitals, the first letters, the initials, and you are going to practice your own name in a very consistent manner. Follow the lines of the grid. Don't make it your own. And put all your concentration in it. Make the swirls where you want them to be, where you think it is appropriate to do it. You have the examples, so we go from here and we're going to concentrate on this. Have fun.